Singapore's total population has hit a record 6 million as of June this year, a 2% rise from 2023. The authorities attribute the increase mainly to the growth in the number of non-residents, such as work permit holders and migrant domestic workers. Now, of the 6.04 million population, 3.64 million are citizens. This is a rise of 0.7%. Permanent resident numbers also rose by 1.2% to about 545,000. Now, the number of non-residents grew by 5% to 1.86 million this June from a year ago. Authorities say they help to meet Singapore's social and economic demands, such as in caregiving. They also take on jobs such as in construction, which residents are not keen to take up.
Given that we still need so many others to come work alongside us, I think suggests that the work opportunities are here, right? And they are probably, what is needed to keep the economy vibrant. I think it's even more important for us to remember that they are here because we invited them here. They're here because we gave them permits to come and work here with us. And therefore, as long as they are here in this season, this is their home, and we should treat them, as members of our community.
The number of citizen marriages also dropped. In 2022, nearly 24,800 tied the knot, and a year later, this went down to around 24,400, or a decrease of 1.7%. Now, still, this figure is higher than in 2019. Citizen births in 2023 fell by 5.1% to about 28,900. As announced earlier, the country's total fertility rate fell to a historic low last year, 0.97. Now, the authorities say this could be due to the pandemic, which resulted in economic uncertainty and disrupted marriage and parenthood plans for Singaporeans. Now, for more analysis on this, we're now joined by Professor Paulin Straughan. She is Professor of Sociology at the SMU School of Social Sciences. Prof, welcome to the program. First of all, how significant is it for Singapore to hit the 6 million population milestone? Do you see this trend continuing over the next few years?
I think if it does, we should be very grateful. If you noted, the Singapore citizen growth is less than 1%. So we're able to avoid population shrinking because we are still able to attract talent from the region to come and work alongside us. Look at Japan, look at South Korea, population shrinking. So the fact that we have not shrunk and we've managed that marginal growth, I think is good news for us.
What are the implications of such a number on a country like Singapore, Prof, on society, resources and infrastructure, to name but three aspects?
I think that since 2011, we have certainly stepped up, right, in terms of infrastructure and preparedness for a larger population. So we have, a more robust transportation system. HDB has stepped up in the availability of flats. So we are comfortable at this point. I think essentially it's a mindset perspective. We just need to learn how to get along with each other and learn to live harmoniously in a very densely populated city-state.
When it comes to non-resident workers, in the short to medium term, how would social factors like our increasing aging population and unwillingness to do certain jobs influence the need for these workers?
Perhaps I speak a little bit more about aging population. I think we do need to have a mindset shift, right? Singapore will be super aged. We are projected to have 1 in 5 will be post-65 by 2026, just 2 years from now. So I think we need to learn how to utilize our post-65 group cohort of Singaporeans, because as long as we age well and we maintain good health and our mobility, then there is absolutely no reason why we cannot leverage the potential and the strengths of those who are 65 all the way through, 75, 80. So one way we can, avoid the risk of, having to depend more on those outside of Singapore is to learn how to utilize the assets that we have in this new group of post 65ers.
For these non-resident workers that we were talking about, the population is said to be diverse. Its size and composition fluctuate depending on our economic and social needs. Could you help elaborate on the kind of impact they bring to Singapore?
I think positively, they add vibrancy to our culture. I mean, Singapore is multicultural to start off with. So when we look at the profile of our non-resident guest workers, they add to the vibrancy of our culture. They bring in, the narratives from their home country. And I think that if we look at it positively, we see that Singapore would become a more happening place where you can find all sorts of cuisine and you can, and our children can learn a lot more about the world beyond our shores through interactions with our guest workers.
And the brief is stating that post-COVID recovery continues to influence population trends such as, delaying parenthood, marriages in Singapore. Do you see any reason that might reverse these trends? Because oddly enough, 2022 saw record citizen marriages.
Because they were catching up from the COVID lockdown and the restrictions. So I do think that moving forward, we probably have to learn how to accept that our population profile will remain pretty much like what we see today, right? We have more singles and we have more dings, dual income, no kids. So what will change, this trajectory? I think if we learn how to reprioritize our goals and as a society, as a community, we learn how to valorize different, different life goals that, different subgroups may have. So right now, our trajectory is pretty much very unilateral, very, very linear, right? Once you are done with education, you should get a good job and then do well at your job, and then things follow. We may have to rethink, right? Is that what we expect all our youths to be targeting? If we want them to be free to look at other life goals and prioritize other life goals like family formation, parenthood, then we need to learn how to affirm these and not expect them to be, A+ in their careers and A+ in family formation.
All right, Prof. Straughan, thank you very much for your time and thoughts. That was Professor Paulin Straughan from the SMU School of Social Sciences.